Hey guys, this is Chad Joyce with Plum Real Estate, and welcome to our latest edition of Foreclosure Friday. Today we're in the Mid-Cities. We're at 7501 Lola in North Richland Hills. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, 1,510 square feet, built in 1966. So a bit of an older property. This could be a little interesting on what's in there. Usually when they get older like this, there's a lot of deferred maintenance and things like that. This house is currently listed for $230,000, which is another reason I wanted to see it. There aren't many homes listed in North Texas at this price. So, usually when you see a lower price like this, it usually does indicate that there's going to be some work in this house. So that's kind of what I expect at this point. But let's go on in. Let's walk on down to it and have a look and see what we find. All right. Yeah, so I can already tell just by walking in here. We do have some power, but a lot of our lights are not on, so we're going to have the trusty flashlight. Reminds me of playing video games back in the 90s. You have those levels where there was just, you're in the dark and you're watching going down a hallway and all there's is light and then something jumps out at you. Anyways, this is the entryway. You can see right here, maybe, let's see if it gets, there we go. You can see right there on the door, that's going to be bug or cockroach waste. So, you can already tell that we got a little bit, and you can even see down in here, we got some dead bugs down there. So I would definitely be getting a wood destroying insect report in here on this one. Coming on in, here's the main living area. This floor, it's an engineered hardwood. It's pretty torn up. Trim's pretty torn up, so all that's got to be replaced. You can see like right over here, we got settling. Again, this is a 1966 home. Like, this is not unexpected, but it is pretty dirty. Like, look at, they must have had furniture against this wall. Look at all that. And blinds, yeah, there were blinds. You can see the holders right there. So, wasn't cleaned very often. So this stuff needs to come out. The sheetrock actually looks like it's in decent shape. You can probably clean this off. If you are interested, it looks like they did put in surround sound wiring. So let's walk on back this way, see what we run into back here. Oh, yep, see, here you can tell we have some movement. It's probably due to water, or this was just never installed properly. But all that flooring's got replaced. You can see right over here the trim's missing. So yeah, they didn't push the flooring all the way underneath the wall. And here, AC vent is the return is taped to the wall. So gotta check on some of these things. Here's one of the bedrooms. Carpet needs to be replaced. All the interiors of this need to be updated. This is strange. Let's see what we got here. Here's the electrical panel. This is not up to code at all. So you're probably looking, if you're going to update this, I mean, this looks to be an even recent new panel, which is kind of weird. They didn't pull permits on this. You're not supposed to be putting panels in this part of the home. If you have to pull permits on this, they're probably going to have to go to the outside. So you're probably looking at $3,000 to $5,000 to redo that. Good closet. If you see some of our older homes, those in the closets, they'll have little benches for kids to sit on, put their shoes on. Kind of a neat little thing, little character thing. Not sure what was there. Something ate its way through. This should be the furnace. Yep, that's the furnace, and that's dead. This probably needs to be completely replaced. Got a serial number. Man, I don't even recognize how that serial number is done. This is an old unit. This thing's got to go. And you can tell somebody was working on it because they've been pulling off the cover there, trying to keep it alive. Here's the secondary bathroom. Added in a nice little thing. Now, I know a lot of people don't like these faucets, but I kind of do. But that's the problem with them. You'll see they get calcified very easily. That's what that is. There's hard water that comes through. And if you don't clean them, they get calcified like that. So that's the bad thing about those faucets. Here's the toilet. Someone decided to look inside of it. Not sure why. There's your... I can make all sorts of jokes, but this is really supposed to be a towel rack. The other side's just missing. It almost looks like a meth pipe, honestly. Shower tub combo. Again, this is all rusted out. You know, if someone was coming in here, now you're seeing why this house is priced at $230. Like, a lot of this stuff just has to go. You know, whether you're going to be an owner occupant in this house or you're going to rent it out, there's just a lot of work. I see right up here. I don't know if you can really see that. There we go. All that is rusted out. So, you know, something you're going to have to do. You're going to have new paint and carpet throughout the whole house, new blinds. I would, you know, the doors are actually, you know, sturdy, but, well, there's a hole. I would think all these doors have to be replaced. Yeah, here this door's got to be replaced too. So we're probably looking at our $40 a square foot that we've talked about in other houses for cosmetic repairs. We're probably looking at that for this house. So, you know, if you're at 1,500 square feet, 40 times 1,500, you're looking at about $60,000 of cosmetic repairs of this home. Because that would also give you updates to all the bathrooms, doors, trim, light fixtures, paint. You know, the paint's not bad. It's kind of dark. I wouldn't want to... I'd rather have a more neutral paint. One thing to always check in these older homes is in their closets. That's usually where you'll see termites or other wood-destroying insects. They like to hide in there where they're not seen. But I didn't see any in there. Still, you know, based upon the front part of the house, I would get a wood-destroying insect report. Here's the primary. I guess technically you can call this a split bedroom arrangement. But again, the carpet needs to all be replaced. Nice little walk-in closet here. There's some added shelving up top, which is good. Oh, something was there. That's not a door. It's like, what is that? Over here's the primary bathroom. You know, a little small. Definitely were some water issues here. I don't know if I want to open this or not. Let's see. Yeah, it's not bad, but yeah, there's no shower pan down here. So, and there's no tile in here. You can see we got, it's always referred to as discoloration when you look at this stuff. Because a bank, you know, they're not going to get a mold inspection. They're not going to claim that it's mold. But you always hear them say it's discoloration when you see things like that. There's an old inhabitant. It's a cockroach. There's the old heater into the wall. Older homes would have their heaters not on the ceiling. They have them on the walls. So again, you know, we're still already looking at that $40 a square foot. There is some settling here. You can see right through here. And this is on the ceiling, so this is a concern. When you start seeing cracks on the ceiling, and you can kind of see it over here, that's over the doorway is pretty normal, but when you see this on the ceiling, that's telling you there's a lot of stress in this home. Definitely want to get that checked out. And there to the left, that's the front. Over here is the train wreck of the kitchen. Again, there's another crack on the ceiling. Not surprising, 1966 home. You know, you're going to have movement and settling like this. Looks like the cabinets were replaced at one time, but all of this, if I was renting this property out or if I was moving in, all this would go. Like we just pull it out, and there we go. That's what's affectionately known as discoloration. Some of that looks like paint though, but man, it's hard to tell what that is. You know, you got all the bug junk. See the speckles up there? I don't know if you can see it there, right there. It's from bugs being in the pantry and chomping on the food and living in there. Really kind of gross. All right, looks like the gas line was added in here. Washer dryer connections, the washer connections over here. Again, there was some water issues, so not sure, you know, those look to be new connectors, but the pipes are old, so maybe, you know, there was water running down behind the washing machine. All right, coming out to some flashing lights. Here's our garage. Let's see, 2014 hot water heater. It looks like it's in good shape. I don't see any evidence of leaks, but you know, you're at 11 years right now, and that said February 2014. So you're probably, you know, it's probably about time to have a new one. And here's some more bugs, you know, and you can tell something's been chewing on the wall here. So again, wood destroying insects, like right in here. Seen all that. It wouldn't surprise me if there's something inside the house. Now, this isn't bad, but it's still something you'd want to get addressed. We just had one. It's actually in a newer home. Oh gosh, where was it? Down in Cedar Hill, I think. That had swarms everywhere. Buyer canceled the contract because they had gotten into the framing of the house and started chewing. I can see garage door here is missing, garage door opener is missing. Garage door opener over here appears to be broken. Light behind me is having a spasm, so that's why it's flashing. But yeah, it looks like I might even increase our estimate of repairs on this, or at least the cosmetic stuff, to be even a little higher. Let's get that light off. Because it does look like you need a lot here. And there is an odor. Again, be thankful YouTube is not scratch and sniff, but there is a smell. And that does happen with vacant homes. Nice big lot back here. There is a nice little open, it looks like that used to be a gate. So I don't know if they the prior owners used to drive something back here and park, but you know, I'm kind of worried about walking through the grass. I'm gonna get fleas. It's another reason why I know it's going to be Texas summers, but I should have worn pants. Yeah, they used to park something back here. You can see where the grass changes right there. So yeah, this gate used to open up and they used to park, the prior owners used to park something over here. So, all right, well, there's the rest of the house back here. You can even see, I bet you this roof needs to be replaced. There's some missing shingles right there. And it's pretty worn. So I would even add in about $8,000 to $10,000 for a new roof, along with everything else that's going on with the house. But you never know. This could still be profitable depending on where you buy it. Let's go back to the office and let's see if this will work for an owner-occupant or a landlord or a fix and flipper. All right, guys, we're back in the office. We just did our walk through 7501 Lola Drive in North Richland Hills. And we're going to take a closer look at whether this is a good deal for an investor or whether it's a good deal for a owner-occupant, and kind of where it would make sense. If it does, it may not. So we're going to look at some interesting things here real quick. One of the things that I thought was really interesting, just checking this property out, you can see right here. Oops, I'm going to do better than that. That's really bad. Trash that. All right, here we go. LP is the current list price. That's $230,000. You can see it was actually dropped today. Sorry, we'll try this again. There we go. It's actually dropped today. OLP is the original list price. This home was originally listed for $290,000, which is really interesting to me when you look at the comps and when we take a closer look at this. So, the details you can see right here, 1510 is the square footage, built in 1966, 3 beds, 2 baths, 2-car garage. And just to remind you, we did walk through the house. That house needs a lot of work. It also probably needs a roof. There's missing shingles. We found settlement and possible code violations with the electrical. So all of that, also gets thrown into here for extra work on the property. So let's go on over. We'll check out what I did here first. We did a half mile. In our MLS, we can do a map area. So I select a half mile around the address. And I'm looking for everything built between 1961 and 1971. It's plus or minus 5 years on each side. We're looking at everything really that has closed in the last 90 days. That's what that is. Obviously, we're going to pull up all the actives and contingent kick-out properties. And you can see right there the pending properties as well. I don't really put any other restrictions in here because you can see right down here, I'm already down to 8 matches. One thing that's going on in the market right now is this is definitely a buyer's market. We don't have a lot of inventory, but the inventory we do have is kind of sitting there. And it's depending on which area you're in, but when you only see 8 matches in a urban/suburban area like this, there's just not much activity. So when we look at all of that, let's go look at our results. And the beautiful thing about this is we got 3 sales. Okay, right here. See, it says 3 that are closed. We have 1 that was 1,147 square feet, 1413, 1825. Now, when we're doing our comps, we like to do what's called bracketing. We like to find a comp that's bigger, right around the same size, and smaller. This almost works perfectly. Where it gets a little interesting here with these is look at the prices that they sold at. We have $165 for the small one, $281,500 for the one that's a little bit smaller than our house, and $327 for the larger one. So let's take a closer look at these individual properties and kind of see. I bet you this smaller one selling at $165, I bet you that one needed some work like our house does. So that would be a really good comp for us as to show what the market is bringing for a similar home. So here you're looking at it kind of, a little bit older property, not bad. Inside, it's looking very similar. You can see how I pointed out, like right here, there's the bug, the bug waste that we saw in the property that we walked. So that's already in here. We can pull it up very quickly. And I can even tell down here, like, that's not very clean. I would suspect there's probably an issue in there. So, and see also right here, we're missing things, torn up trim down here, extra different coloring back in here, damages on the wall. All these things are going to, if they're showing up in pictures, it's going to be worse when you get there into the home. So I suspect this really is going to be very similar to our property. Again, hole in the wall, damaged trim, bunch of chip marks down there, older cabinets. I would say this is pretty similar. So if we're looking at, let me close this out real quick so I can get out of here. We're looking at a house that sold, you can see it right here. It sold for $165. So I'm going to pull up my calculator. It was 1,147 square feet, 165,000. You're looking at $143, 143.85, and we're 1510. You know, that puts it at 217, which honestly I still think when we go look at this is probably going to be a little high. Usually as you go up in square footage, the cost per square foot decreases. So I would take, you know, maybe 15 off of this. And then you're looking at 195. I really think 195, 200 is probably going to be where this thing's going to realistically, you know, sell at. The similar home, let's see our middle one. You can see this looks nice and clean. Yeah, and we got updated flooring, nice, you know, paint, trim's working. You can see right here, these are Formica countertops, so these aren't updated. You can also see up here on this trim, that's the older cabinetry that's in the property. It's in good shape, but it hasn't been updated. Also, that's an older window. So again, you're talking about, this is probably a fair market, you know, an average listing. Okay, so let's go to the last one. And yeah, I can already tell you, this house has been fully updated. You can see right here, brand new light fixture. Down here, they have the nice flooring. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, modern flooring, modern trim. Let me clean that off. Trying to get to the, yeah, our fireplace over here has been painted. So, you know, this is a sign of a property that's been flipped. Nothing wrong with that. Oh, also, a couple other things. Recessed lighting, new light fixture, fully updated kitchen. So this property's in good shape. Okay, so this is kind of the top end of our value. All right, so let's go back out here. We'll look at this. And quick and dirty, 327,000 divided by 1825 times 1510 gives you a $270,000 sale, which it'll sell for a little bit more than 180 at fair market value. So I would say probably in this one, you can see right here sold at 281. So 285 is probably a fair value. And then, you know, looking backwards, probably that 195 range. Because again, this one only has one car garage, has 1.5 baths, and it's smaller on the square footage. So I think 195 probably is a good indicator of value on this. And this one, you know, all of these, you know, it closed in April, March, February. So, you know, good indication there. Let's go over here to our rentals. Again, I did the same search here. This gives me a good breakdown. And again, we're bracketing. So this is great how these came up. We have a 1,200 square foot home that leased for $2,200, 1,660 that leased for $2,250. Our house is 1,510. Boom, it can lease. The market's telling me for $2,225 without a problem. So let's go ahead and let's look at our numbers on this. Yep, there we can see it. Over here we have all the property information. We have our ARV, 285. Purchase price, I'm going to put it down at 195. Now again, here's the target purchase price, which is that calculation is done by multiplying 70% times the ARV minus repairs. You're not going to typically get that on a market sale. So, you know, you can see these two numbers from here to there are just kind of off whack. I have in here for the repairs, $45 a square foot for cosmetics, $8,000 for foundation. Remember, we have a possible electrical issue with bringing it up to code, so $5,000 there, and we need the house needs a new roof. You can see right here we put the rent at $2,225, and the taxes, good grief. For that little house, it needs to be protested because they have the tax assessed value right now at $329,432. Somebody wasn't paying attention. So that's way too high, and it gives you annual taxes for an unexempt owner of $7,149 a year. That's rough. that is rough. First thing I do, whether you're a homeowner or an investor, is go protest those taxes as soon as you can. So going over to analyzing this, here's our acquisition. If we can do this at 195, all in, we're at 286. Kind of ruins our flip if we can only sell it at 285, which means we're losing 18,000. And if we do, I have doing 18 of these a year, you're going to lose $326,000. You're not going to be very successful. So I think right now we can cross out flipping on this one. Now, down here on the rental rate, what I have looked at is, here's where we had as the rent, $22.25. The loan amount is 50% of what the fair market value is. So it's $285,000, what we got right here. So that's $142,500. This number right here, that's in parentheses, that's how much money you need to bring in for the down payment there, plus repairs. So you're going to be into the property for $143,500 plus and some change with doing a 50% loan just to make $214 a month. You tell me if you guys want to do that or not. You're looking at a rental cap rate of just under 1%. Cash on 1%, that is this number divided by, you can see, which the 12 months of earnings divided by the total amount in, which is 286. That's your cap rate. Cash on cash is going to be your actual profits divided by how much money you put into it. So you're getting a return of 1.8%. Not really something I would want to do. Some people need to store some money. Some people have too much money to deal with. They do stuff like this. Now, one thing you can look at, that's a market rent. One thing that we haven't talked about in the past is doing Section 8 rentals. Now, I went ahead and I pulled up the Tarrant County. You can see this is the Tarrant County housing small area for market rents by zip codes and bedrooms. This is effective as of January 1st of this year. This is out there on the internet. Just go look up Tarrant County Section 8 rental rates. This will pop right up. They put this out every year and they make it public. So our zip code here is, there we go, is 76180. So let's go back over here. We'll find 76180. There it is. There's our line. And we're a 3-bedroom, come down, $2,510. That's how much it would pay you. If you go back over to our spreadsheet, we put in, sorry, I'm going to do it over here so I don't mess up my calculations. $2,510 for the rent. Yeah, now it helps a little bit. Now you're looking at a 2% cap rate and a 4% cash on cash. What you really want to do is you're looking for that 1% rule. This one doesn't do it. 2510 times equals that times 12. Actually, really what it is, it's one, we want to divide that by how much we're putting into the property. So turn that to a percentage, 0.877. We want to get that, over 1%, trying to get that higher. And if you can get that ratio, then these ratios down here take care of themselves. You may be making $500 a month, but it's really just not worth it when you look at that. Now, this might be something to look into an Airbnb. It is on the northern part of the Metroplex. You are kind of close to, downtown Fort Worth. Maybe that will work. In fact, we can go over there and check it out real quick. We'll go to our website, rabu.com, and let's go ahead and see what they say. It's 7501 Lola Drive. There it is. Let's kind of see what it would make. I think we have to go in here. There we go. 7501 Lola. And we have 3 bedrooms. This should tell me, I believe this is where it tells you what it is. Yep, there we go. Annual revenue projection, $29,357 a year. That's actually, that's pretty close to right in line with what the Section 8 is, $24.46 a month. So really no benefit for turning this into an Airbnb. Unless you just got money to park, this wouldn't be worth it. If you're an owner-occupant, I would say, you're probably going to want to buy this house. You're going to want to get this number right here to be at least 10% lower than what the fair market value is. So, you're probably looking at buying it $165. Now you're into the house at $255,000. You have $285,000 market value. Now you got some equity. Now you have a reason to do this transaction. Otherwise, unless you got family or you want to be in that school district or you want to be on that street, man, there just isn't a reason for you guys for an owner occupant to do that. There's just too much work on that home. Hey guys, thank you for tuning in today and walking through this home with us. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. We're going to start seeing a lot more properties, in my opinion, coming on the market here. The market has taken a downturn, and that's something that you need to be aware of if you are a home buyer and a home seller. Home sellers right now do not have the power. We're seeing a lot of home buyers who are offering significant amounts off the ask price, and they're getting deals done. So, it's a good idea to check out and keep up with what's going on, because this could change in a moment's notice, or this could stay like this for a while. If interest rates come down, who knows? Maybe there's going to be more buyers flooding the market. But right now, as is, this is definitely a buyer's market. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is below. I hope you guys, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next week. Y'all have a good one.